Oh, I am Mac, at least for a day, and everything's going to be okay. This video is going to be a little different than ones I've done in the past. I usually just do patch note videos after a patch has come out, and then I demonstrate the changes that have been made in No Man's Sky. However, it's looking like what should be version 1.6 of the game is going to be pretty major, and we've already got information about it from the PC experimental branch. So I'd like to go ahead and go over what's coming in the future. I can't demonstrate it yet because it's not here yet on PS4, but I have screenshots of some of the changes from my good friend Boomstick Joe, who has the PC version of the game as well. So he was able to play the PC experimental and share the screenshots with me. So I'm not going through all the patch notes, because the patch notes on PC experimental are huge, very long list, like they have been sometimes lately. Now, it's 1.6, but it's not like a whole new systems are being added to the game, but there are some pretty major gameplay changes that are in this one, in addition to lots of bug fixes and functionality improvements. So anyway, first I'm going to talk about there are going to be additional landing pads to the Space Anomaly and the Atlas stations. So in the trailer for Next, it showed other players, like 4 players, a 4-player group, all being in the Atlas station. And personally, I haven't tried this yet. I haven't tried landing in the Atlas station with other players, but I'm not sure how that would work, because people have pointed out to me that there's only one landing pad in an Atlas station. So it wouldn't really make sense that multiple players could land in there. Like, do the ships like all pile up on top of each other on that one landing pad? I don't know. But they're making a change so that it will be more possible for multiple players to all go to the same Atlas station and land inside of it. And I'm going to show you a picture of the landing pads in the Space Anomaly now, courtesy of Boomstick Joe. So as you can see there, they have greatly expanded the space inside the Space Anomaly, and now 4 players can land in there. Now, Boomstick Joe told me that they have not increased the size of the Space Anomaly station itself. It just seems to have a larger area on the inside, which I don't know if that's true or not, but according to him, it's like that. I asked him, is it like the TARDIS? Doctor Who's TARDIS is a tiny little police box, but then it's got a giant, space station thing on the inside that can travel through time and space, which is basically what the Space Anomaly is. So it would seem that they've done some kind of trick where there's greater space inside the Space Anomaly, but they haven't made it any bigger. But that's pretty interesting. So that's cool. Now I'm going to speculate a little bit here and say that maybe this change might be an indication that they're going to add more storyline, and that the storyline will involve multiplayer more. Because right now, the Atlas stations and the Space Anomalies are involved in the Atlas Rises storyline, but it's not really a multiplayer thing. But maybe they're going to add more story, and it will be catered toward different players working together to do the storyline. But like I said, that's just speculation. I would love that. I would love if they added new story and if they involved other players in it, but that remains to be seen. But it's pretty cool that they have changed the interiors of the Atlas stations and the Space Anomaly to allow other players to land. Next is a very important change because, well, I did a video where I did a workaround for this problem. Currently, if you build storage containers in freighters, they create these gaps that you can fall through and die. So it's very good that they're making this change, but the cool thing is, instead of just making it so there's no gaps, they're completely changing it to a new storage room instead of a storage box. It's much cooler looking, as I'll show you in the screenshot right now. So as you can see, it's no longer a boring box. It is this cool looking room with some other storage props and a computer terminal where you can access the storage. So that's pretty cool that they completely redid the way the storage containers appear in freighters. So they used a bug, instead of just fixing the bug, they actually made further gameplay improvement by making it look cooler in your freighter. So then next, there are new Quicksilver items, of course. We've been getting new Quicksilver items the past couple weeks for the weekly events. But this one features something very special. It's very near and dear to my heart because it is actually something that I emailed Hello Games and suggested to them like over a year ago, like before the Pathfinder update, I think. Now, I'm not saying that my email is what made them decide to do this, but I haven't heard a lot of other people talk about this feature. Well, okay, so it's a robot companion. So let me just show you the picture of the Quicksilver item. So when I emailed Hello Games, my idea was for more of a gameplay feature that you could have a robot companion following you around and that it would actually help you fight, or it would help you mine, or would help you scan things. That's not what they've done with this. According to the description, it's just a base building part, but it's pretty cool that they're adding that little robot that floats around in freighters so that we can build it in our bases. That's pretty awesome, because that is a really neat feature, having a moving little companion in your base. Now, for a long time, people have been saying they would like to have pets, like the creatures on planets could be made into a pet that you could keep at your base or whatever. And in a way, this is kind of similar to that, getting to have a robot companion. Obviously, it's not the same as being able to have any of the random creatures that you encounter as a pet, but it is pretty cool that we'll get to have a little robot floating around in our base. Okay, I'm going to go through some of the other really nice features that are in this update on the PC experimental patch notes. Like I said, I'm not going to go over all of them, but I will link the PC experimental thread in a pinned comment so you can read through all of the changes. First, I want to mention the ability to customize our body shape. So in the appearance change station, we will be able to pick through some different body shapes besides just the standard body shapes for each race. Now, I think this is a really important change because on the Atlas CSD forums, there was a discussion thread where, like, mostly the female members of our group complained that there aren't female body shapes currently, not really. I mean, there's some slightly feminine armor types that you can have, but you really can't look at all like a feminine body shape. Hello Games showed a video of the different body shapes, or a GIF of the body shape changes on one of their development updates, and it looks like there's one body type that is somewhat more feminine. It's slimmer at the waist, and maybe looks a bit more feminine, so that's good. Hopefully they were listening. You can also make yourself short and fat, or more manly and muscular looking. But it's good that they might be adding a body shape that is somewhat feminine, so that female players or guys that want to play as a female looking character can do that. Next is pretty important change of the rules. They made it so that falling through space, like if you fall through your freighter, like the bug that's caused by the containers I just mentioned, if you fall through space and die, you no longer lose your items. So in normal mode, you won't die and you have to go get the grave out in space, or if you're on survival mode, you won't lose your items, and in survival mode you just lose your items. There's no way to get them back. And then more importantly, if you fall out of something in space and die in permadeath, you will no longer lose your save. It will not be deleted. And that's really good, because I mentioned this, I think, in a live stream recently, that I had heard complaints from people that played permadeath, and very early on in No Man's Sky Next, they fell through a freighter or a frigate and died and lost their save, and it was due to a bug. So there were some people very incensed, very angry that their permadeath save that was from before Next was deleted because there was a bug that made them fall through their freighter. And I definitely agree that that's unfair. People in permadeath say that if it was their fault that they died, that they got into a fight with sentinels, or they got killed by hazards because they didn't have enough protection, that would be fair. But being killed by a bug and losing all of your progress, that's just not fair. Obviously, Hello Games can't bring back those saves for the people that have already lost them in permadeath due to this, but it's good that people can play permadeath now and no longer have to fear that a bug will make them fall through their freighter and die. I've fallen through freighters on several occasions in normal mode and died because, well, just recently I was in my friend Boomstick Joe's freighter and it was very laggy and it caused me to fall through. Imagine if that happened in permadeath, that you were just visiting a friend's freighter base, you fall through it because it was too laggy, and you lose your whole save. That would be awful. So I'm really glad that they're fixing that so that you can no longer lose your save in permadeath. You'll just get put back to your last save point or whatever instead of losing your save. So that was a very needed change. Next is deleted bases clear out from your teleporter list. This is a bug that people have been complaining about since Next first came out. So we can delete bases, but on the Terminus portal list, the bases will still appear there. A lot of people didn't like that, and I have a couple bases that I deleted that are still on my Terminus portal list. So it's really good that Hello Games is fixing that bug. Next is rocket boots. Okay, so a few friends of mine have said that the rocket boots actually do work, and I have the rocket boots on, but they actually don't work because obviously they're fixing it, and they wouldn't be fixing it if it actually worked. So I'm sorry, my friends that told me that there are ways to get the rocket boots to work. They actually don't work, and they are fixing it. So the way rocket boots are supposed to work is when you melee jetpack, or you jump and double tap your the A button on PS4, it's supposed to launch you forward very quickly. And if you can keep pressing the A button, you'll continue launching until your jetpack power runs out. But it doesn't actually do anything. I can double tap the jump button all day and it won't give me any kind of a movement boost. Whether I'm melee jetpacking or not, it doesn't really help at all. So they're fixing the jetpacks. A lot of people have been complaining about that since day one of No Man's Sky Next. Next, another thing that people have been complaining about, some predators will hunt the player now. So when Next came out, all predators stopped attacking players. Now, I am one of the detractors that like this change. I like that predators don't all attack us. Because it really messes up the ability to watch creatures in their natural habitat. Like, let's see, is this guy a predator? Oh, wow. Oh, there he is. He might be a predator. It says reckless. Yeah, die to small animals. So this guy's a predator. So I could watch this guy, and he won't attack me. And I could watch him stalk his prey, kill a creature, and there's even an animation for him to eat it now. So it's pretty cool, I think, that we can kind of be like wilderness nature documenters and watch creatures in their natural habitat prey on each other and all of that without the creature suddenly turning around and attacking us. I never liked that you could never watch predators act normal, because predators were always enemies of the player. They would instantly attack the player instead of continuing to attack other creatures. So I liked that change in No Man's Sky Next, but other people didn't. Other people didn't like that it was no longer a way to make the game more challenging, that predators didn't attack you. So, but the way Hello Games has worded it, it sounds like not all predators will attack us, only some will. So I hope that's the case, that there will still be some predators that we can watch from a short distance and watch them eat their prey, but other predators, maybe depending on what type of behavior they have, will attack the player. So I'm hoping it's not going to go back to the old pre-Next days of every single predator always attacks the player no matter what, if you're anywhere near them, because it was very immersion breaking and, you know, didn't let you watch creatures in their natural habitat and the way they would act as if you weren't there. So anyway, enough about that. Next is a pretty big one that Hello Games already teased, was the biological horrors will have a new attack. They're going to basically spit acid, by the looks of it, and that will stop people that destroy a biological horror egg and then fly on top of the abandoned building or wherever you are, because that's what people would do. They would destroy a couple eggs, pick them up, and then they'd just jetpack onto the building, and the creatures couldn't get up there. I had suggested that maybe they should make it so that the biological horrors are able to climb up buildings and attack the player, but they decided instead to give biological horrors projectile attacks, and that's really cool, and that's actually something else that I have suggested to Hello Games in the past. I suggested ways to make creatures better would be to give them some kind of projectile attack, like laser eyes, if you really wanted to get crazy, or fire breath, or like shooting poison or something like that. So it looks like the biological horrors will be getting that. They'll be getting a projectile poison attack, which will make it harder for you to avoid their attacks when you're trying to take their eggs. Next is another part about the melee jetpack boosting I should have mentioned. So right now I have a two-handed weapon, and Kyle Culver did a video about this, and he said that he believed it was a feature of the game that small multi-tools would allow you to jetpack boost farther than two-handed ones. But in fact, this was a bug, and Kyle Culver just mentioned on Atlas CSD that it was actually a bug. So it's pretty cool they're fixing that, because as you can see, if I melee jetpack, I don't go very far horizontally. It mostly just goes vertically, but you could go a lot farther with a small multi-tool. But they're fixing it so that melee jetpacking will be the same for one-handed multi-tools and two-handed multi-tools. So that's pretty cool. And that's about it for the new features I'm going to mention. There's a lot of other stuff, a lot of graphic optimizations, crash fixes, many differences in this update, and I'm thinking it's probably going to drop tomorrow, Thursday, because that's usually when the updates have been coming the past few weeks. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be tomorrow. So we could be getting No Man's Sky 1.6 Thursday, September 13th? Yeah. So I think it may be coming tomorrow, but I could be wrong. But anyway, this has been my video. Oh, darn it! Okay, so last thing, we can end with this. I will end with a slideshow of the other new Quicksilver items. I forgot to mention that. So I'm going to do my outro, and then there will be a slideshow of the other new Quicksilver items, which feature the Celebrate emote, the Apollo decal. Apollo is one of my is my favorite character from the Atlas Rises storyline. He's got a decal now, and Diplo statues. So you will see the montage of those screenshots after my outro. So I have been Mac. Thank you for joining me for a day, and remember, everything is going to be okay.